Welcome to The Creative Present, a show that's dedicated to expanding your creative self-expression and at the same time, getting your projects done. And I'm your host, Joshua Townsend.
All of us in the first world countries have been trained to think in a linear logic, and we also unknowingly think about linear progression. And that's why we see all these memes and shorts and single cell frames about what we expect, and we expect the long linear line either going up or going sideways. And then they have the next frame, which is about, the reality of it being up and down, and all that. And that's something that's very much played out in our culture in the last 50 or more years, that we like to graph things in a linear progression or a linear upward sweep. But anyone who experiences life in a realistic way will also know that it's not like that. And I bring that up because a part of us brings that to our artistic creative development, our creative process. We think that the progression of our development on a project, would start off with at the lowest point, and then we would have a trajectory up and over towards the right to the finish line. And it's just not like that. We have all different kinds of trajectories that we get to experience as human beings, as creatives, as artists, as people who want to put a project out into the world. And so to drop that expectation, both not only mentally, but emotionally, which is the challenging part, and to really be with what is, and to be with that process. And for those of us that are involved in narrative storytelling, feature films, books, anything with a narrative really, where there's a main character, there is always going to be in your narrative something that's a setback, something that's non-linear, something that we don't expect. And that will actually deepen the experience for your audience. And the reason why it deepens the experience for the audience, because known or unknown, we all recognize that that's a part of life. And just before the biggest breakthrough, or the potential for the biggest breakthrough, is the darkest hour. And while we may not see that in our own lives, when we go to see something on a screen or in a theater or experience something of that ilk, a part of us knows that. A part of us relishes in the almost getting to the finish line, and then there's a setback. And that's just one example. There's many, many more. And it's very much akin to walking a labyrinth. When you walk a labyrinth, you get closer and closer to the center, and then at some point, you find yourself back out at the edges again. And the labyrinth also is replicating that kind of journey, because this is a journey. And like all good journeys, there needs to be adventures and discoveries and unknowns and so much more. Enjoy the ride. And anytime you can, weed out that aspect of things going from left to right, matching some kind of linear logic, and don't even ask why.
Thank you for listening. If you love what you're listening to, please subscribe and then share with fellow creatives. For more, go to joshuatownsend.com.